think about this way, your best campaigns on Facebook are normally what? Remarketing campaigns.
Yeah.
You can drop more people in your sales funnel for half the cost per click and then more qualified when it makes sense to do more of that. It's going to make everything do a little bit better.
I'm going to hang up this call and start learning native right now. Welcome to Seven Figure Entrepreneur Podcast, the #1 podcast for bringing you behind the scenes with real online earners. We got no fake gurus here. And today we have the awesome Joe Burton. He got passed on to us from our good buddy, Brian Higgins. Brian Higgins was on our earlier podcast, like an earlier episode, I think like maybe number 2 or 1. I'm not sure. I always forget. I always mess that up. And we also have Tyler Devin. Welcome.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think we actually had Brian on a YouTube video too in San Diego.
Yes, we did. I feel like we should get him back on the podcast because
we should.
Yeah, he's a lot of his business has changed quite a bit. So
he's always making moves. He's been growing pretty good. So I think it'd be cool to bring him on. We should definitely do that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So just to give Joe a little intro, like super small intro, he owns ROI Marketplace, and it's an ad agency, and they do all sorts of different advertising, but they specialize in native advertising, which is really cool because we haven't had too many native guys on here.
Totally.
And I feel like native is kind of untapped in a way. So I don't know. I'm excited to learn more about it with Joe. So Joe, glad to have you, man.
Yeah, real pleasure. Thanks for having me on, guys. Heard awesome things about you and looking forward to, the chat. Should be great.
They're all lies, to be honest, but
No, man, we're definitely excited. And to have a native guy just to build off what Gabe was saying. A lot of people, when they hear online advertising, they hear Facebook, they hear Instagram, they hear Google. And there's some guys talking about native, but not a lot, man. So I think it's cool that you bring this dynamic. Number one, would you mind even explaining what native advertising is?
Good call.
Yeah, so absolutely. So again, native advertising, in my definition, how I always look at it, it's a direct connection between a company and their consumer, right? So at the top level, it's those little ads you see at the bottom of web pages. Almost every page in the world probably has one now. They kind of look and feel like they're part of the content on the page. They blend in almost like a news article would, and they drive to usually a third-party advertisement. So what I love about native, it's really an opportunity for that brand to tell the story to their possible consumer base. One of the oldest ones I use when I'm pitching a new client is, Anderson Windows could run a simple banner ad on the side of the page saying, hey, click here for a free quote on new windows. Or they can write a content piece about how Windows can reduce your heating costs by 30% next winter. And oh, by the way, we can also help you out get those installed. So it's a great concept, and in my opinion, should be used in every single campaign out there.
The content is more like the sales pitch. Like it makes more sense than just be like, hey, buy my stuff, than like, hey, this is why. Makes such a difference. Such a difference.
It really is. It's your opportunity to sell somebody. And every time someone's on your page, your job is to, of course, sell them about why your product or service is something they should look at. And there's an opportunity to do that. And, in my opinion, a lot of statistical evidence shows this as well. It outperforms display and outperforms even Facebook and, some other campaigns in a similar, kind of campaign targeting.
Dude, I actually have heard that. I heard a lot of the time native quality is some of the best quality out there. And based on that, from what I understand, sites where you'd see native ads would be like MSN.com, FoxNews.com, stuff like that, right?
You pretty much name it at this point, right? So the big ones obviously are the biggest sites, right? MSN, AOL, Yahoo, and so on. But you really can't go to a news site and not see some kind of native content on it anymore.
Totally.
So a lot of people fight over MSN.com being the top of that placement, but we actually stake ourselves on getting everything else in between there. Every site's got its worth and its value, and it's worth different for every single advertiser out there. But you really can't find us without a native ad on at some point anymore.
Yeah, when I did Taboola for a bit there, I dabbled, and there was just so many sites, man. Like even just in tier 1, there was massive amounts of sites. Like it was never ending. To go hard and really start a new campaign, you have to be dedicated to spending and really just like going wide and axing stuff like crazy.
Yeah, you have to optimize for engagement and see who's engaging with your ad copies, engaging with your landing pages and all that. There's a lot to do. Yeah. It's honestly a little tougher than Facebook is. I mean, Facebook, you kind of set up an account, you dump in some email addresses, you do a lookalike targeting audience, and you let it go. It's not quite that
Yeah.
easy.
But that being said, a lot of native platforms, don't they? They're starting to get into a little bit of the algorithms and getting some pixels going and stuff. I remember that there was, I forget what it was called. You'll know better than me, obviously, but I know Taboola was coming out with like a sort of like a pixel, if you will.
Yeah. So yeah, Taboola and Outbrain both have lookalike targeting now, where you can dump email addresses into their platform
Yeah.
and they'll find similar audiences. You can also buy audience data on both. So you can buy news interest enthusiasts or
Yeah.
sports enthusiasts or whatever, is kind
Yeah.
of going to be your target demo. Obviously, remarketing is key on any kind of campaign. We can discuss more about that later because that's super critical. But they are starting to evolve. They're not where Facebook is yet, but they're getting better.
Yeah.
What about for amount of traffic compared to Facebook and Google? Like, how does native compare?
Well, I mean, how many sites are in the world, right? So you kind of pixel those all together. There's a whole lot of traffic to be had there. Now, again, it's not as simple as Facebook, where you can be on one platform, optimize one set of ad sets, and scale that thing to the moon and back. But it's a great alternative to that, right? And people are always frustrated the ups and downs that Facebook might have. And I spent $1,000 one day and then $10 the next day, and my account got shut off for some reason I can't fully describe, and all those certain things.
Yeah.
So, it's nice to get more traffic.
Yeah. It's nice to be in a spot where they want your money, right? Like with native, that's what my friends always say too. They're just like, yeah, I'll never go back to Facebook because I feel like they don't want my money.
It's much more stable. One, your reps do seem to care about you, right? I've got bad reps and good reps, but on the day when they call up a rep, they pick up the phone, they want to help you out in their campaigns. You're not dealing with someone who's what the hell they're doing, which I do Facebook all the time on. And we spend on Facebook all the time, guys. We do, millions of dollars of ad spend there. We definitely know what we're doing as well. We see much more stability on native, much more long-term growth.
Yeah.
And to come back to Tyler's point, the quality's better. If you think about the nature of it, someone has read a content piece about your company, they've engaged with your product already, and then they may give you their information or buy their product or whatever the case may be. You've already pre-qualified that person so much more than simply hitting an ad inside their newsfeed on Facebook.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like the user too, like on Facebook, if you're going to Facebook, you're going there to blow time. You're not looking there to learn or really engage. Where I feel like on native, like you're there because you want to read, you want to get caught up on something, you want to be involved. Like I feel like there's a whole different mindset of like a native user is even opposed to a social media user.
Yeah, there really is. And you're catching it at a different point in their day. They're on a news site, they're engaging with content already. Now it's important to say, this may be the first touch they have with your product or service. So you may not convert that user on that initial click, but they've read about you, they've understood your company at least a little bit, and your goal is to sell them on your product or service, right? So marketing is key there. But a great thing about native as well is you're going to see things like your branded search go way up. Is what do people do if they read about your product on Facebook or on native? They go to Google and type it in, right? They go to Google, type it in, and they might buy through there. They go to Amazon, they type
That's
it in.
cool. I didn't even think of that, man. That makes total sense. So
it's super critical. And on top of that, your Facebook marketing campaigns go through the roof because, the first thing they're going to see when they pop up in your newsfeed is all of a sudden, oh yeah, there's that same product you just read about. Here's information.
No,
about
that makes sense.
Interesting.
So how is it that because like right now you basically bring advertisers on and help them manage their advertising online, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we kind of partner with brands that maybe have a product or a strategy on native that isn't quite, refined yet. We help them by creating content and building landing pages, and then honestly helping them scale and optimize their campaigns.
Nice.
It's almost like a PR campaign on steroids,
Yeah. And then like you mentioned, you see them on Facebook. Do you build out all those other traffic channels too, like Google, Bing, et cetera, et cetera?
In a perfect world, yeah, because everything is like an ecosystem. Everything makes everything else better. So as our spend goes up on native, they see better results on on Facebook, better results on Google. It's nice to get credit for that, But in some cases, we just obviously communicate that back to the advertiser and say, well, hey, in addition to sales, we're tracking right here. How's branded search looking for you right now? And they always see a nice bump.
Yeah.
Nice. That's cool, man.
With a new client, do you, let's say I came to you, new client, do you go to native first as your first placement to launch a client on, or do you kind of just, like Tyler was saying, put it across all of them first, or how does your process work for that?
Yeah, so we've got a couple traffic sources we typically start somebody on. We'll hang them out in a couple different places, depending on how refined the campaign is, right? So in some cases, the campaign may be very refined. They're running a lot of native currently, and they just want to help us get additional scale behind it. In other cases, we'll just test them out with one or two traffic sources, get the story right, get the content right, And then as we figure things out, we'll launch them on different sources.
Interesting.
Cool.
That's cool.
That's really cool. For people who don't know, how's the landscape of native looking? Like, is it, because you always hear like, oh, click costs are so ridiculous, it's impossible to make it work. Or, I mean, the people who don't fully understand native, they're always going to spread some sort of rumor about it and why they're not doing it. But how does it look from your point of view?
I mean, it's getting tougher. I'm not going to lie. You know,
Yeah.
3 or 4 years ago, our click costs were probably a third of what they are now.
Yeah.
Every time there's a big rash of bans on Facebook, people find somewhere new to spend money, and they pop on native channels and jack things up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, but it's all about really refining your strategy. You know, and the technology has gotten better, as well as, you know, in the same correlation to the cost getting better. So by a refined approach, you're able to do that. You know, what's really critical, more so now than ever, is the story's got to be good. You know, the story behind your product has to be key, or else it's never going to work on native campaigns. Because without that, nothing's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. What so like, I know a lot of people, like at least a lot of people I know who run their own traffic, or a lot of EECOM guys. How do you find EECOM products transition onto native?
As long as their story is good, it's phenomenal.
Gotcha.
You know, so if you take into a very bland page with no real, you know, quality control, and the story's not good behind our product, well, no one's going to buy it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you take into a page that talks about some great products and services behind a company, it converts like crazy. You know, but it's important to have a good funnel in place as well. It's not always going to be that day one, I clicked it and bought a new widget conversion, right?
Yeah.
You may have to, you know, have a good remarketing campaign in place, a good push campaign in place, have your branded search words all at the top of the list, and so on. You know, but e-com is phenomenal, especially in Q4, because people are holiday shopping.
Yeah.
That's actually a good point, man. Q4, this is for anyone in e-com. Even if you're not in e-com, it might be worth getting into, just because this is a great start off point. Like, these were always our biggest months, was Q4 for sure on e-com.
I miss those days.
You're dead on. You know, we tell every single client, you know, native should be in every strategy out there, right? You should have your search, you should have your Facebook. I'm not saying to take that away, but by having a healthy native campaign, it makes that all better. The click cost usually a lot cheaper than Facebook. You have an opportunity to tell your story a lot more direct than you are with Facebook or search. You can touch a lot of people that may not know about your product. As long as all their facets are firing correctly, that's all going to come together and be profitable.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Good call.
Very interesting, man. What are some of like the more unique things that you've seen actually work on native that maybe at first you're like, I don't know about that one?
There's been a bunch of them, man. It's been a couple of gadget campaigns we've had over the years. One was like a computer software installation that helps speed up your computer. I looked at that and it's never going to work on native. I did millions of bucks in ad spend on it. Go figure.
Wow.
Right?
Was that an affiliate offer?
It wasn't. No, it was a guy that owned an offer. He just came to me and said, hey, look, we had this deal. And I'm like, it's never going to work, but fine. We'll give it a small shot, right? Story was well. People engaged with it and they loved it. And the campaign ran for 2 years at a very profitable ad spend.
That's awesome. Do you work with a lot of offer owners?
What's that?
Do you work with a lot of offer owners?
Oh, absolutely. That's our bread and butter. So we do really no affiliate marketing whatsoever. There's just, we could probably make a little more money at it, but it's just not my passion, right? My passion is to bring it to more brands. You know, so everything that we do is as direct as possible, because it's just
smart
how to make it happen, I think.
Yeah.
That's
true.
You
do everything right from like crafting the actual like landing pages and the content yourself, or copy on behalf of the customer, or how does that kind of like usually roll out?
Yeah, so we've got copywriters on staff that write all the different pieces about your product. Of course, their input is always very, heavily asked for. Why is your product different? Give us information about that. Have you been featured in any news articles? Anything we can build that off of, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So we spin it into the editorial. We send it to the client for approval. Then we start to obviously manipulate the ads, write ad copy, get that all approved and whatnot. And then really our job is to get that client into your cart. And at what time, that once they're in your cart or in your lead generation funnel, they're obviously, your issue moving forward. So we handle everything from that point forward.
Nice.
That's cool. That's really cool. So I want to go back a little bit here. How did you decide you wanted to do an agency, or open an agency? Sorry.
So I've been in this business about 15 years. I was actually the director of sales at a company called Pulse 360, which goes back to 2005, I think, is when I was running sales.
Is Pulse still around, or are they gone now?
They went out of business. I think the company's branded as something now, but no, they went out of business. So they were one of the first people to put text-based sponsored links on publisher sites. So very early on what native advertising became, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of innovated, because if you wanted to be on MSNBC in the past, what you had to do was call up MSNBC, talk to a sales rep, get some crazy display package for $30 per thousand, and launch a buy with them. So we realized pretty quickly that if we put these little text-based boxes on their sites, A, it added more value to MSNBC's bottom line. They were making more money. And B, it allowed clients that maybe couldn't touch that site in the past, they could list it on that site. It went viral very, very quickly.
So let's talk about that. So sorry, I just bought my computer. But you said now they can be listed on the site. Was that because like the $30 CPM wasn't affordable for them, or what does that mean?
Yeah, in most cases, if you're a product or a service, right, you don't really want to call up MSNBC and spend $500,000 on a buy or $10,000 on a test.
Yeah.
How it's going to work, right?
Yeah.
So by working with a content network like Paul 360 was, you could get on that site, have a great placement right next to a news article on MSNBC, and do it on a cost per click basis. So advertisers really, clung to that. And it wasn't just small mom and pop shops or affiliate type deals. We had major branded companies that ran with us. We had, presidential campaigns that ran with us and everything in between.
Wow.
That's so cool. And then from there, you opened your agency, or did you go somewhere else?
No. So kind of funny. From there, I tried to launch my own ad network. So I partnered with some investors based out of Florida and built an ad network called Wham CPC.
Yeah.
We came out a similar time frame to Rev Content. We were actually building, things were going phenomenal. We had this amazing, sales force in place, and revenue was growing. And we signed a bad tech deal with the wrong company, and the whole thing kind of fell apart overnight. So,
sucks.
Yeah, that was my, my big moment, my, my oh shit moment. But, but from that, we built all these contacts of guys that were into native marketing. And we realized after that was all said and done that, there's probably a real business behind this. Because people always ask me, well, help me out on Taboola, help me out on Rev Content, help me out over here. I don't know how to do this, right? I can't make it work. With a conflict of interest of owning an ad network, we couldn't do that. But obviously, once we, kind of broke out on our own, we built that company up pretty quick. And we're 5 years old now. It's been great. So
nice. That's awesome.
That's super cool. How many clients do you have now? You can tell me.
Yeah, we're under 20. We try to keep it fairly lean and mean. For the most part, we don't lose money. So we've had clients we've had since day one. Not every campaign does work, but everything is pretty solid. So we're under 20. We try to keep it that way. We take on the right deals if they're a fit. We like clients that, again, we have an interest in, something that we know can work. Something that's going to obviously be a great story long term.
Yeah,
that makes sense. What kind of like monthly ad spends are you guys generally managing?
We like to have clients that can do at least 25 to 50 grand a month. Our sweet spot is definitely 100K plus. It's just where I think things all tend to really start to hum and come together.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we start at. But if you can't do at least 25 grand a month, we're probably not a good fit for you, just because of all the work that goes into building the campaigns.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
How, if you don't mind me asking, how does it structure? Do you get a percent of ad spend?
Yeah, we're built on a percentage of ad spend. So we charge our margin as everything they spend. We bake that into their CPA targets. So they say it's 100, we make it X amount, based on the campaign deals. And obviously, we know if we're not hitting those numbers, we're not keeping the deal very long. So it's
no doubt.
All makes sense.
Customers not staying around either, so that makes sense.
So it's make it worth it to stay with you. That's cool.
What? So I know you also have that the ad buyers group on Facebook, right?
Yeah, I run a Native Advertising Gurus. It's just a group meant for like-minded guys that kind of talk about different things on about Native and all things alike. And then we do some speaking events. We're going to be at Affiliate World in Thailand.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. You're going out to that in Bangkok?
Yeah, we're doing that. I don't know if I'm headlining it, but I'm doing the Native piece about how to build a lead gen funnel and all that kind of stuff. So
nice.
We're excited to be doing that. We're doing a speaking summit in LA I think that's in February. We did one in New York City a couple weeks ago. So, trying to get the message out to more and more brands understand really what a valuable asset this can be for your company.
Yeah.
It makes sense, man. Just because, again, there's so many sites out there outside of Facebook and Google that have so much fucking traffic that to overlook that is a complete mistake.
It is. And again, it makes everything else exponentially better. So, what does a Facebook click cost now? I mean, $1, $2, $3 a click sometimes.
I'm pumped at $1. That's where I live, around 80 cents to $1. I'm good.
Yeah. So think about this way. Your best campaigns on Facebook are normally what? Remarketing campaigns.
Yeah.
You can drop more people in your sales funnel for half the cost per click and then more qualified when it makes sense to do more of that. It's going to make everything do a little bit better.
I'm going to hang up this call and start learning Native right now.
I know a guy fake.
Yeah, join his Facebook group first. Is that a free group, actually?
Yeah, it's a free group. It's just really meant to, we like people that contribute something to the group that know something about the marketplace.
Smart.
Want to chat. And,
Yeah.
we monitor it. That's not just you spamming your links and saying I run an affiliate network, run my offers, because I hate that stuff.
Oh, I love those guys. Man,
we get good conversations going.
The day of like shitty affiliate managers needs to die because they're still out there. Like we have like a lot of quality ones, don't get me wrong, but then there's always just that one. You're just like, bro, where have you been?
It's funny because I know who you're talking about, but that's another story.
Oh, I mean, there's more than just one. Like I feel like I meet a new one every couple months.
Fair enough. So people looking to get onto native, again, if obviously if you're tired of like trying to get new Facebook accounts, which is a big thing right now. I was actually hearing like local barbershops even getting their Facebook account shut down, which is like crazy to me.
Just before this podcast, I got a message from my friend. He's just like, I just lost 25 ad accounts. 25.
Oh, isn't that frustrating? It's happening like crazy lately. We hear it all day.
Oh man, like we're in the same boat. Like we run heavy on Facebook, like hard. And we've been like playing the game for the last couple months here, just squeezing out every dollar we can before the end of the year.
Here's the question I ask every new client when they say, why should native be a part of my strategy? And I tell them very simply, if your top traffic source got shut down tomorrow, how long would you stay in business? And it scares the shit out of people because they realize that if Facebook were to go down tomorrow, and that's 85% of my business, I'm out of business in 3 months.
Yeah.
It's a high probability that it will go down tomorrow. So
what's scary actually is how many businesses Facebook's probably taken down.
Yeah.
People build their entire everything around one traffic source that's honestly you've got no control over. It's very, very finicky, and you can do absolutely nothing wrong and lose an account for no reason. And that's just part of the business, right? And when you respond to that, the response is that cookie cutter, copy and paste method of you've been reviewed, you no longer stand compliant, blah, blah, blah. This decision is final.
All right. Sold. How much will it cost me to get you to teach me how to run native?
I'm actually building a course out right now, so we'll let you know when it's all finished.
Perfect. I love it. It's funny, man, because like whenever Facebook does this, I'm like, I need to learn native, and then I dabble for a bit, and then Facebook pops back off, and I'm like, I'm gonna put all my focus back onto this, and it works well for me because when Facebook's working, like I can hit it hard. But man, I feel like I'm always coming back to native, but I haven't really got more ahead.
It's really about diversifying your portfolio, and even inside of native. So, there's 4 major networks, Ebola, Outbrain, Gemini, and maybe Rep Content or whatever, right? And you got your secondary networks, things like MGID and Newsmax and all the middle tier guys, so we don't even put all of our eggs into one network's basket.
Smart.
So we'll spread across 25 different networks because if one network's having a bad day, well, my business doesn't suffer at all. Everything kind of remains relatively consistent.
How much staff do you have, man? That sounds like a lot of fucking work.
It's a lot of work. We got, a handful of buyers. We're lean and mean, but, that's what we do. So, the campaigns remain pretty congruent.
Yeah. Did Outbrain buy Taboola?
Outbrain and Taboola merged. So,
gotcha.
In my opinion, this is absolutely phenomenal news because I think it does a couple things. One, they no longer compete against each other. We can have one rep, one platform, because they were splitting a lot of impressions on major sites. They had MSN half the day, Outbrain had the other half. They're fighting over all these.
They're the 2 biggest, aren't they?
They're the 2 biggest for sure.
Yeah.
So by creating one, in my opinion, I hope this is true, now more brands have to embrace native and can't ignore it any longer. I hope now it's going to be, we have our Facebook strategy. Yeah, you've got our Google strategy, but now I've got a real, liquidity behind making a native strategy as well. Because they're going to offer a lot more volume behind it. And I think there's going to be some more consolidation into the marketplace because of it. Because companies with the smaller tier ad networks they won't be able to compete anymore. So I think it's going to be very, very good for the business. Get a lot of the junk out of there. It's going to help with fraud. It's going to help with lower tier networks. It's going to help with garbage sites and everything in between.
Very cool. That's good news. That's a good perspective to take on it too, man.
It is. And, it's going to get past the, top 10 pictures of celebrities in bikinis ads that you see all over the place, which are just, they offer no value, right?
Yeah.
They make money.
Talking about entertainment value is high.
Entertainment value is high. They offer no real value. So we're going to see, I think, more and more brands embrace it.
What's that called again? Site arbitrage?
Yeah, arbitrage. It's a dying business. Google kind of stopped it the past couple of years anyway.
Thank God.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did a big crackdown on how you can get approved to have Google AdSense on your pages. You know, in the past, you kind of have a site that had some volume before it apply to get your accreditation and get the sense on there. Not as easy anymore. They really kind of crack down on sites that offer no real value. So without that, it's much harder to make money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, so like going back to like native, like someone wants to get into native advertising, where do you think is the best place for them to really begin?
Yeah, I would start off with just 1 or 2 networks. You know, make sure your story is good. Number one priority. Make sure you have good content and good story that's going to resonate well with your target audience. Set up a test on 1 network. Try to have as few variables as possible. Try not to launch 20 different ad creatives and 20 different landing pages. Kind of mitigate things to 1 or 2 different variables.
That's me.
And start slow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, is there a traffic network you'd like recommend people start with?
I go right to Taboola. You know,
Yeah.
Taboola's got a pretty user-friendly network. It's something you can do pretty well with.
Yeah.
You get into things like Rev Content and MGID. It's a little bit cheaper, but it's a lot more volatile. There's a lot more optimizations to be in place.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The Taboola reps are okay too. Like even the beginner reps are okay at Taboola.
They are. You know, they're pretty friendly. They're pretty useful. You're only going to spend, I think, like $5,000 a month to kind of get in their radar, which isn't a ton of money.
Yeah.
You know, and they're pretty helpful. You know, and Outbrain's the same way. They're pretty helpful. Now with the merger, what's going to happen there? I've heard rumors they're going to use Taboola's interface versus Outbrain's. I don't know. That's all kind of up in the air still. But obviously they are one company now, or will be in the near future. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Interesting.
That's cool. Yeah.
So, because like I was thinking, when we ran before, Gabe, we ran Taboola, didn't we?
Yeah, we ran Taboola.
And then as far as like, I heard that Outbrain, or at least prior, and maybe this isn't true anymore, they actually had better quality. Like people were saying the data they generate off Outbrain were better quality. Have you found a traffic source that is better than the other? I heard Rev Content was the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's all kind of advertiser based, right? And it can be one campaign, it can be one landing page, it can be one traffic source inside.
Yeah, that's true.
There's so many different things that can be there. You know, we tend to see a much higher engagement with native versus anything else anyway.
Yeah.
And there's always the guys that say the quality on this lead report sucked versus over here. It could have been the ad, for example.
Yeah.
You know, ads could drive a whole different type of user into their funnel. One might convert great, one might convert terrible. It's important to understand the difference between the both.
Yeah. Does that come down to how clickbaity it would be?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, for example, you know, we did a very large buy and lead generation for home improvement, right? And it's been great for us for years, and a vertical I never thought would ever work. You know, now if we run an ad's very general, very, you know, high interest, well, the leads may be a lot cheaper to get, but do they convert on the sales floor for the users? And the answer is usually no, they're not the same rate. So you drive a much more qualified lead with a much more stringent ad. You might pay a little bit more for that click, but it might convert a lot stronger on your sales floor.
Gotcha. You know, it's funny, actually. That's something we got a good lesson in this year, is how much just even an image alone or copy alone can affect your lead quality overall.
It is, because people are going to start clicking on your ad, getting into your sales funnel. And if all I do is click on your ad because it was some cute girl sitting by a computer, you know, or maybe it's not going to be the best user to convert long term.
Yeah.
Gabe, I think he's seen your ads, bro.
Man, I don't run like that. I especially in lead gen, I feel like because it's such a quality based industry, like you're screwed if you have shit quality. And I'm all about getting as much cap as possible. So you really have to be not spammy and have a clear message.
You're dead on. And that's why we tend to not work on the affiliate side of things for anything, because all affiliates care about is how can I get that lead as cheap as possible.
Cheap as possible.
Right?
Absolutely.
And I want to pay, you know, $10 and get paid out $25 on that lead. I don't really care about the long-term effects of it. You know, with my agency, if you want to see your company be successful, and we'll take, you know, a slim margin on the lead cost as long as it's much more profitable for the buy long-term.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
A lot of the lead gen companies we work with, they're saying a lot of black hat guys are switching over from black hat on Facebook because it's so much harder. And then they come over to lead gen and they just like beat it up, but they're all about just the like burn and turn. And they've like taken down like high quality offers and stuff in like a week just because of their methods. So spamming doesn't work and it doesn't help anybody.
No, and it jacks up the cost for everybody doing things right, you know, and it makes their life more difficult. When someone says, hey, I want to try native, but I hear the quality sucks. Well, did you get beat up by some crappy ad that was all fraud, you know, 6 months ago? So I feel you, buddy.
Yeah.
No doubt. Yeah. You know, another thing too, man, I think advertisers over the years have got a lot more sophisticated, where before like, I think way back in the day, if you sent them a click, they would pay you. But now they want to see how your traffic backs out. And, you know, one thing we found, one advertiser in particular, you know, we get higher payouts, or other people aren't even allowed cap because our quality is better than theirs. So they really are getting a lot more sophisticated than they've ever been.
Yeah, it's going to be a long-term game, right? I mean, I've seen 100,000 affiliates come and go since I've been in this business that made a bunch of money, and then they either gave some of it back or went out of business and couldn't do things right. You know, so, you know, I think the ones that understand there's a long-term play here, the ones that are going to be standing in, you know, 5, 10, 15 more years down the road.
Yeah. Totally. Or the FTC took them down.
Yeah, I saw some of that as well.
We've been in this industry a long time to know about a few people who have the FTC knocking on their door.
Yeah, we can trace some more stories at a different time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Or haven't paid their tax bill and they got smoked on that.
Yeah.
Some guys that got hit pretty hard.
Damn.
But yeah, no doubt. What's because did you ever run affiliate traffic before?
I mean, a little bit here and there. We still do a tiny bit of it right now, but it's more of like, I want to learn this offer. Let's see how it does, right?
Gotcha.
You know, it's just, my passion is really in getting brands to embrace how valuable this is for their business.
Yeah,
we only take a small margin of the ad spend. We could take a lot more on the affiliate side, but I just like the consistency and building a long-term relationship, as opposed to, we did 1,000 leads yesterday. We did 10 leads today. To get a new offer. I just hate that business.
Yeah, fair enough. Do you guys have an office, or is everyone remote?
We have an office. We're based out of Buffalo, New York. I work out of my home office today, but we do have an office.
Snow outside?
What's that?
Is there snow outside?
Not yet, man. A couple weeks. So then I've got a couple satellite employees that are around the country. I got 4 to 5 employees in the Buffalo area.
Nice.
A couple guys throughout the country. There's a couple guys overseas as well.
That's cool.
Nice.
That's cool. I want an office, man. We're all remote and stuff, and it's great and the freedom's awesome, but like I just want to be in an office.
I don't use mine hardly ever. Isn't that bad? Like I pay for the office. It's right down the street from my house too. I can be there for 3 minutes. I just barely ever go there.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that you make things like I do the same. I'll make something as easy as possible to do, and I still won't fucking do it.
Yeah. It's right there. I get the team there, in 10 minutes, be there. But it's just, I'll sit in the home office today and get more done, I guess.
Yeah, no doubt.
So funny.
One thing I was kind of curious about actually was one thing I've the more people we've brought on the team, etc., the more I've looked at how do you hire the right person for a job, or how can you decide if someone's going to be a good fit? What do you think makes a good native ad buyer?
Oh man, great question. And hiring is the toughest thing about the business, right? I feel confident in what I do, but it's hard to bring on someone to do what you do and hopefully do it better than you, because you don't have to work as hard.
Yeah.
So it's got to be someone who's, self-sufficient and driven. As I said, we tend to work out of a home office as much. If you're going to sit on your butt and play the new Call of Duty all day, that's all you're going to focus on, then it's hard to make money. It's got to be guys that are, they're good media buyers, and maybe they don't focus on just one thing. And the most important thing, you got to be able to multitask. When you're running 5, 7, 10 different advertisers on 10 different platforms, it's a lot to do. You can't always be in that one campaign, micromanage every minute detail. You have to multitask and know how to kind of pass some things off other team members.
Yeah. So,
do you guys use any software for managing your campaigns, or anything that you'd recommend?
We do. So we use an API, for all of our major platforms. I can plug them if you guys want. They're something I feel pretty confident with.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So the company is called The Optimizer.
Yeah.
There's other APIs out there. There's Maximus, there's Brax, and there's some other ones as well. We've tested them all. I like Optimizer the best because it allows us to actually tell it what to do.
Yeah.
So with Maximus, for example, they kind of set it and forget and does all the optimizations for you, right? Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Well, with the Optimizer, I can tell it to increase my bids or decrease my bids, or increase my budget or decrease it, or whatever the case may be, all based on rules that I set. So
Gotcha.
look at this data set and make all that happen.
Yeah.
And then that runs 24/7 as often as you want it to, which at this point in time, you need to have to be successful on native. You can't be in there once a day optimizing like you used to be.
Yeah.
You got to be in there all day, every day.
How does Optimizer charge you?
It's a flat fee per month, and there's overages based on how much you do. It's pretty reasonable. We have the highest level spend, I think, and we're not breaking the bank on it or anything. They use all the major platforms: Gemini, Taboola, Outbrain. They work with MGID, some smaller networks like Run, Native, and AdsKeeper. We don't even really buy on yet, but we're trying. They tap right into Volume's DSP, which is kind of cool. and a couple other networks as well. So, and they're pretty reasonably priced. It's not, it's not terrible by any stretch.
Nice.
Gotcha.
I like that. It's a flat rate.
It is, and there's overages based on these,
Yeah.
have a lot of impressions, but again, it's pretty reasonable.
What is that volume DSP? Because I've heard about it before, but I'm not sure I fully understand it.
Yeah, so I mean, the DSP is just obviously a network that taps into all the exchanges, right? So you can buy on, Live Intent, or you can buy on Taboola or Alpha, and you kind of get their leftover remnant inventory.
Gotcha.
So Volume is just another network where you can do that. We do the same thing on Zemanta, do the same thing on Centro, we do the same thing on a couple other platforms as well. But it allows you to just tap into unsold inventory and bid it on a CPM basis.
Yeah.
We don't spend a fortune on them, but they are, in every media plan we do, they got some kind of budget.
Yeah. Is that the same as like Volume Tracker? Is it the same company?
Same company, yeah. And actually,
Gotcha.
they're mutually exclusive inside your ad accounts. If you sign up for a tracker account, you can get the DSP into there.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I didn't even know that was an option.
Yeah, you got to apply for it, but we use Volume as our tracker as well.
Yeah.
And again, if you got to have some kind of quick tracker. If you're not using it, you're dead in the water. We use Volume. Thrive's a great platform. I've used them in the past. There's some other ones out there as well. But if you're not looking at all that data, understanding which devices you're converting on, what your click-through rates are per landing page, all that information, then you're going to be a hard time to make it really work.
Yeah,
no doubt.
You have to with native for sure. We used Funnel Flux. Tyler, you still use it a little bit, don't you?
I have it. I haven't been using it as of late. I'm probably still paying for it though.
I know we are on the buying side for sure. But man, I don't want to get rid of it because setting that thing up is such a bitch.
Yeah.
What do they call
it? Was a pain in the ass.
Funnel Flux. Oh
yeah,
man,
Funnel Flux.
It is complex. It is awesome, but it is complex. And there's probably some people listening to this and be like, you're an idiot, but I am not a tech genius. And
well, I'm an idiot, so they're right. But
it's probably the hardest tracking platform I've ever set up.
Interesting. So I can't even place a pixel. So, that's how bad I am at technology.
Yes.
I
love it. More people like me.
Yeah. I want that to be a lesson to everybody is you don't have to be technically smart to make money.
No, I mean, I can't place a pixel. I can't design a landing page to save my life. I can't do any of that stuff. So I've got guys that are great at it. And that's what I pay them for.
That's amazing.
I think that's an important note, man. Like I've been in this at 12 years. I can't even, if you asked me to put a website up, I would not be able to do it. So it's good to like figure out what you're good at. That's how come I was kind of relating to the native thing, because people will come to us and be like, hey, we want to make money online, or we want to figure this out. Or there'll be other people who'll be like, hey, do you think native could work for me? Maybe they're a more established brand, which I'd probably refer them to you now. But in the past, people were like, what should I do? And I always think like, what are you naturally gifted at? What is it that you could do? And it just comes to you super fucking easy. And so I was kind of curious on what it takes to be a good buyer. Cause before I thought I was like an analytical mind, but lately I've been seeing some really creative approaches to stuff. And I'm almost wondering if creativity takes the cake.
No, I think so. To be a buyer, I personally think it's much more of the creativity side. Can you write a good ad? Can you find a good image? A lot of my buyers also do basic web design where they can design their own pages. They're not graphic geniuses. They can do the basics, right?
Yeah.
We can hire a data analyst to look at data and say, well, here's why this is working or not working. And that part's different, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's very different skill sets, but they should feed off each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you guys actually use anything for your landing pages? Do you build them out yourself, or is there a service you use?
Yeah, we actually use a couple services out there. So we use a couple different variations. We use ClickFunnels for one, which is super user-friendly and pretty easy. We use Wizzy, which has been pretty good for us as well.
Right.
And we're starting to experiment with another company. I can't remember the name. My designers brought it to my attention today. So, they're all pretty useful as far as quickly duping, complicating pages and getting more pages up for testing, right?
Nice.
And I think you're always best to build a page direct, with a direct designer. But as far as building out 100 pages a week, it's just not anybody's palate.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Totally.
Technology is pretty important.
Yeah.
Nice. That makes sense.
Yeah. How do you like Wizzy?
I like it. So I know the owner, Ryan, for a bunch of years, and it's been pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan's a good guy. He's got a good system there, and he's getting better all the time. It's great to be able to, again, I can design a page that at least looks somewhat okay on there. I'm not gonna say it looks good, it'll look somewhat okay. If I can do that, it's pretty user friendly. So
yeah,
I'm a fan of the duplicate button. Pay someone to build a good page and then duplicate the shit out of it.
And just change out the images, change out
That's
the
right.
headlines, right? All that stuff matters. It's
Yeah.
people understand those little freaking tweaks is how you make a campaign profitable or unprofitable.
Dude, it's
Little
crazy.
details.
What would you
But
say
actually-
what would you say the most like bang for your buck when doing optimization is
Mm.
on a landing page?
It's the headline. Number one. So when a user's on your page, you basically have 30 seconds to loop them in, right? To get them to engage with your content. If they click out within 30 seconds, they're never going to buy from you. If they stay more than 30 seconds, you got a pretty decent shot. So having a strong call to action at the top, we try to make our messaging kind of coincide with what our ad actually said. So if the ad talked about one thing, the headline should be at least close to that. And having a strong opening statement on the landing page is going to drop somebody in pretty quickly.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's awesome. It sounds like you have birds over there. Do you have a flock of birds in your house?
We have a couple of parrots. They're not in my office right now, but they're out.
Are they birds? I thought those were children. Clearly, I'm not meant to be a father.
I was just guessing. Total long shot. Yeah. That's
What
funny.
as far as business models that you see like work, like a lot of people will say, hey, like I want to sell like I don't know, cell phone cases online. I'm like, yeah, you can absolutely do that, but it's the same person buying a new cell phone case every month. Probably not. As far as what you see work as online business models, especially ones that would do even better on native, is there any criteria that you've kind of narrowed down to?
I mean, you're right. It's got to be something that's got longevity behind it. The quick to buy people are fine, but it's hard to build a long-term business off of that. We like lead generation for a couple things. One, it allows you to obviously, optimize campaigns pretty quickly. But two, you can use that data for the next 10 years. You can opt into your email funnels. You can sell them new products and new services. And as long as you're not a spammy dick, you're going to be around for a while. They're actually going to engage all the content that you put out there. We also do a lot with like simple push notifications. We'll drop a push notification on their page, remarket users on the current product as well as using third-party products down the road. And this helps more people to be engaged with your brand. The goal is to build a brand, not to build a one-time user, right?
Yeah.
People trust what we're doing here and want to buy from us over and over.
Yeah.
That's, it's interesting that you talk about push. That's something we've been exploring a little bit more of. Do you guys are you cool explaining what that is to people just so they can have an understanding?
Yeah, so push notifications, when you go to any web page now, basically opt into getting push notifications from that page. And all it basically is it's a native ad that's going to pop up on your desktop or pop up on your phone when you're going back to that website or when you're on some other website throughout the day. It's almost like a combo between a pop-up ad and a native ad, right?
Yeah.
So you subscribe to that, you agree to be served these content pieces, and they're going to serve you news articles from that webpage. So if you sign up for a sports page, they may say, hey, the Bills sucked and lost to Philly last weekend. Check out the article here, which I had to read over and over again.
Yeah.
But then they can also monetize through third-party ads, right? So, hey, here's an article that you may find interesting about another product, and you can engage with it. So on our side, we buy push as well as we also run push notifications in-house. We drop users pixels on the pages, and we serve our ads to them for our similar clients.
Interesting.
You can buy push? I didn't know that.
Oh, you can. There's a lot of places to buy push.
I didn't know that. I'm still like in the thinking about it in like an EECOM like app added to Shopify, I didn't know you. Yeah.
It's relatively cheap too. I mean, so the CPCs are a lot less than native. The quality is not as good, full transparency. If you're running lead gen, you bounce them with push traffic all day, they're going to complain. It's not the same level as, a native ad is. But like anything else, everything has got a value. As long as you're upfront with your clients about that, hey, this is a different type of user. What is the value to you on your side? It works great for them.
Yeah.
I imagine too, if you can filter your user flow properly too, you could probably weed out the best ones because there are going to be good users in there.
100%. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the same people that are on the news page for native. They've opted to receive push from that particular website, right? You're just catching a different point throughout their day. So there's very good traffic inside. You just got to properly set up and monetize it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's cool. I know I was actually speaking to I was in Costa Rica and I was talking to a guy down there who we're actually going to have on the podcast soon. And his strategy heavily revolves around push. And it's been a consistent revenue source for him for a long time now.
Yeah, it's great. It's growing. It scares me a little bit because I think Google could shut it down anytime they want. They can simply block push on their web pages and the whole business will suffer. But as of right now, it's a huge part of our media budget. And again, it feeds into everything else that we're doing. So I always bring up the ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
Click drives into your remarketing funnel, drives into your branded search funnel. It all works together. When all things are firing together, you can't always quantify what's making what better, but everything gets better for sure.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So speaking of like how the ecosystem and everything and how you like to test everything, is there anything new on the horizon that you're just getting into right now in terms of traffic sources?
We're looking into a couple things. We were kind of late to the game on Snapchat, but we're
Yeah.
kind of getting into that. TikTok is something we're looking at heavily. They're
Yeah.
starting to follow ads here.
I didn't even think about that, man.
Yeah, there's more and more things coming. Again, TikTok is not allowing ads yet, but we're watching it and seeing when it's going to come up.
Mhm.
And Snapchat, again, we were late with Snapchat, but we're trying to break into that as well. And something we're trying to get good at, but we haven't cracked it, is YouTube. I mean, YouTube is like the second most visited site in the world, and we're not doing hardly any advertising on there. Different funnel, different everything, but we've done very well.
I feel like YouTube targeting, man, is just on point too, because I get like I'm heavy into mountain biking right now, and I just get beat up with mountain biking ads every day on YouTube. And I almost spend more time on there than I do than watching like Netflix or TV or anything like that. I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna watch like a couple of YouTube videos instead of TV.
It's all day. I've got a couple of kids myself, and they'll watch YouTube for hours. And it's insane.
Wow.
And it performs much more like a radio ad or a TV ad than an actual web ad. So it's got to be structured very differently. But it's there's tons of volume there, and it's a hell of a lot cheaper than a lot of other things are right now.
Yeah.
Do you help clients actually build the YouTube ads out?
We don't offer that service yet. I'm trying. There's a local company in my area that does video and video editing and filming and the whole thing. So I'm trying to convince the owner over there. I'm like, look, there's a real business model between someone sending you some product, you filming a commercial for 30 seconds, editing it up and giving it back to them, right? So I think he's going to embrace it, but it's not something we're currently offering.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's cool.
Man,
that makes sense.
every time I do one of these podcasts, I'm just like, oh, I need to try more shit. I need to do more stuff. I come
Can you
out.
imagine how our listeners feel?
Oh, dude, I can. And like every time that we do a podcast, I like call Tyler after. I'm like, man, we should be doing this.
and then
vice versa.
Sometimes we do. Yeah, sometimes we do. That's cool, man. Well, touching on push too, man, because it's something I've been like super interested in recently. There is a few limitations, right? Like iOS devices won't take push, right?
Yeah. So, I don't think Apple's quite taken them yet, and some other things as well. It does matter a little bit. The targeting is not as good yet for sure. But for the most part, it's pretty open still. And the desktop push is phenomenal traffic as far as we've seen.
Yeah.
I could see that. By the way, just so you're aware, we actually emailed our Google rep about push. And right now, Google said they were fine with it.
Yeah. I'm curious where it's going to go. Because again, if there's enough complaints about it, it's going to get, I think, like email got regulated, right? Where clear opt-outs, clear everything. It's going to change up a little bit. But at the end of the day, people are buying from the service, so they're actively engaging with the service. They're enjoying the products that are being seen.
Yeah,
it's not like it's all invasive on their lives. Now that being said, complainers complain. They're going to kind of muck things up for other people. But I think you're right. It's going to change, but it's not going to go away.
Yeah,
makes sense. That's cool.
Yeah,
man,
cool.
It is interesting that you bring up YouTube too. It seems like as many people as we have on this podcast, I can't think of a single person who specializes in YouTube. Can you, Gabe?
Yes, I have one guy that I added to my Facebook, and I want to reach out to him to get him on here because I feel like I want to learn more about YouTube, and I'm sure that a lot of our users do too. So I'm going to do that right after this.
Smart.
Yeah, I agree. I got a great guy as well. If you want to talk to him, happy to introduce you guys to him.
Yeah, I would love that, man. We're always looking for more interesting guests that are doing something different than what we are. So
what, sorry, and this is a pretty selfish question. When someone comes to you and they have like maybe a funnel or something like that they're running, and they bring it to you, what is, like you said, native does take lookalike, right?
It's getting better. It's not perfect yet, but
Gotcha.
it looks like it's getting decent at least on a couple networks.
Would it be beneficial if they like kind of set up the pixel beforehand, like the conversion pixel, let it learn a little bit, then fire up native, or how would you generally approach that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you have an account with Taboola, get it live, get the remarketing pixel in place, get the data kind of accruing, get email addresses in the account, all that stuff. That helps, right? And the more information you can give the network to work, the more beneficial it's going to be for you.
Gotcha.
That's easy to do too. Super easy.
Yep.
That's one thing I love about all these programs, man. They're just making it easier and easier to actually use their platform.
Yeah.
It is. It's, and obviously you have to put the time in, and again, spray and pray tactics don't work like they used to, and just dumping ads into an account. And, we have a graphic that we show in our presentations about a native funnel and how to make it work properly. And so many clients only want to look at, here's my landing page, here's my offer page, here's my checkout page. How do I make things better in between here, right? There's
Yeah.
still other things you can be doing to a campaign and make it profitable through multiple facets. And
Yeah.
to really make things work at scale, you have to embrace the entire click.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
A lot of work to make an offer profitable, I'd imagine. I've never done it myself, but I just like, there's so many moving pieces.
It is, and it varies by.
But you had it rolling on EECOM.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
There is, what is cool about having your own offer though, is there's so much more control. And like some of the, at least the bigger offer owners I know, I asked them what business model do they love, and they love just having the offer, because not only, you know, a lot of them, they're happy to break even on the front end and just make all their money on the back end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're dead on. And difference between an affiliate deal versus a direct deal is, you know, obviously if our native sales drive up a 10% increase in organic sales, they can't attribute anywhere else. It's all great to have everything else that you're doing, you know, which is what we tend to see. You know, hey, we're seeing all these great sales. We wonder how they came from last month. Well, they didn't find you from nowhere, right? Someone had to find your webpage from something. It just drives everything else.
No doubt. That's just front end stuff. That's not even back end too.
Yeah. Do you guys track lifetime value?
As much as we can. There's not a perfect system in place for that, and every client's a little bit different. But we try to get as much of that data as we can to kind of prove how valuable it is.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. That makes sense.
That's cool.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, this has been a great breakdown on native, because like we haven't really done, I've done no native, Gabe's done a little bit, and we definitely know guys in the native space. You know, one thing when I think about it, Gabe, the guys we know in the native space, they've been consistently in native. It's not like they really ever leave once they get started.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys just kind of set and forget a lot of their campaigns. Like they'll have campaigns running for like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
Do you see a lot of stability in native as a whole once campaigns get up and get rolling, or is it kind of like a lot of check-ins required to keep them going?
Once something is going, I would say don't freaking touch it. You know, if something is up and profitable and making money, leave it alone, set up new campaigns, don't ever touch it. We've had campaigns that have ran for 6, 8, 12 months, never changed a bid. They just kind of plug along and make us some money. You know, so now from that, we had a test on 25 campaigns to find that one great one. But when something's going great, man, leave it the hell alone. Because you're right, it's not a whole maintenance at that point.
That's amazing. That's the life I want to live. I launch Facebook ads every day. Every day. I launch about like...
You need to launch. What else would you do with your life if you didn't launch Facebook ads every day?
Dude, I launch like 300 ad sets a day, maybe more.
I love
Do you do anything for that, out of curiosity? Do you guys have like a technology you use?
No, just my fingers.
Yeah.
You're a brave guy.
Lots of coffee.
I manually watch the lead costs, like everything, man. You know what? It's like an addictive video game. I'm a degenerate when I'm like in the zone. It's so funny. I was talking to Tyler the other day and I was like, we're making money every day, but it's not like what we were doing like 2 months ago. But like 2 months ago, I was waking up at like 4 a.m. in bed with my laptop, making sure we weren't overspending. Cause like, man, like how much did we spend in today? 50, 60?
Yeah. I think the biggest one was 70.
Anyway, so like when you're dropping that much cash and you want to make sure that you're not losing, right? So like my entire day would be dedicated to just staring at the screen. But I love it. Like I felt like I had purpose. Now we're like, when we do like $1,000 a day, I'm like, oh, this fucking sucks. Like I don't want to do this anymore.
Isn't that depressing? And the campaign that was doing so well just dies out for no reason. You just have to watch it slowly die. You know?
Oh, it wasn't for no reason. It was Facebook. They axed all my good shit, man. So like I've been rebuilding for the last 2 months, but we're back on the team, and I'm probably going to scale back up in the next week here, and I'm really excited about it.
It's like playing poker, man. You got to play hard. When the chips are stacked against you, got to put them all in, right?
Yeah.
No doubt, man. That's funny. Yeah, Gabe, I'd say if anyone saw you in New York, you're probably a depressed version because you weren't running much Facebook then.
No, man. Yeah. Well, they probably wouldn't have saw me in New York anyway if I was running, because I'd be locked in that hotel room just making money. And honestly, like, I'll take it. Fuck socializing. I'm down with making like 25 G in a day. You know, like I'll take that shit
no doubt.
any day. So,
absolutely.
Too funny.
Yeah, man.
Dude, it was awesome to have you on. I love that mug, by the way. And I don't know if it's your camera, but it looks massively huge right now.
It's pretty good size. It actually has beer in it, believe it or not.
Oh, does it? Take the edge off, I guess.
I mean, like you're on East Coast time, so what time is it there? It's like 4:30.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, it's only 1:30 here. Anyway, I think we should wrap this one up. You got any more questions, Tyler? I know you do.
No,
but like
actually, there would be one I'd like to end with, man. And I think you've touched on this, but maybe not like succinctly. What would you say, like someone going into native, what were the top 3 things that you would tell someone that's like, I'm going to start running on native ads like today?
Yeah, I mean, number one, again, make sure your story is good. You know, whether you write it yourself or pay someone to do it, make sure that story is going to really hit that user base. You know, you got to sell to a pain point. Yeah. Understanding what your target audience is going to be needing, aka, you know, understand the in-depth part of it, right? You can usually find that out by asking the offer owner. You know, what are your top questions you get? What are your top, you know, responses? What are your top needs, right? Build a campaign around that. I would say target only a couple networks to start. You know, be intelligent about your ad spend. And number one is optimize for engagement. You know, take people that are engaging with your ads and optimize against those versus optimizing for pure conversions, because the conversions will come if they're engaging.
Interesting.
Yeah. Could you talk about how that actually, like how to physically do that?
Yeah. So optimizing for engagement means who's reading your content piece and then engaging the next part of your sales funnel, right? Mm-hmm. A lot cheaper to find that user than it is to find that person that actually buys or commits to a lead inside your sales funnel. So if we're testing on a blind network, right? General rule of thumb is you spend twice the CPA before making an intelligent decision on a site or a partner or a page before you pause things, right? Well, by simply optimizing for engagement, we can make that same decision after 25 clicks, 50 clicks sometimes. It allows you to be much more proactive in kind of managing your campaigns.
So what do you base that off? Time on page?
Time on page and CTR from one page to the next. I mean, how many people read your content piece and make it to step 2 of our funnel? You know, what I find amazing in our business is every time someone is on your page, right, it's your job to sell them about your service. Yeah. We live in a business where you can fail 97% of the time and still be profitable. Isn't that insane to think about that? Yeah. I mean, try failing 90% of the time or 80% of the time. The better you can get at selling your service, the more profitable your campaigns are going to be. And to fail 97% of your time and still be profitable is just an insane number to me.
Cool. What tool do you use for time on page?
We just use Google Analytics tied directly into our, our
smart. Gotcha.
Dude, that was a super, I think that was a super big tip right there, man. Thank you for dropping that one.
No problem. That's our number one priority is, are you engaging with their content? If you're engaging with their content, you're probably a legit, possibility we can sell you on a product. So
yeah.
Nice. Cool. That makes sense.
One more question. Are you going to Las Vegas for Affiliate Summit?
Probably. I did New York and I was honestly kind of underwhelmed by it. I don't know if you guys went there.
Always is.
Same.
Yeah. But Vegas, it's freaking Vegas, man. I mean, you got to go. So
last time I was in New York, I made the call. I'm like, I'm no longer doing this show. I'm only doing Vegas. The West Coast is for me.
Yeah. Someone paid me to go to
a penthouse party.
Who? Oh, Joe is
a penthouse party.
I've heard.
Hopefully you get the invite.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do it up, right?
Yeah. Well, let's meet up, man. It'd be great to meet in person. So,
are you guys going to Thailand or no?
Tyler?
I say no, and then a week before I'll book a flight.
Okay. Well, if you're there, man, let me know. There's some good parties we'll be going to and all that. If not, where are you guys based again?
I'm Vancouver.
Florida, Denver. Yeah.
Okay.
We're both technically Canadian.
True.
You guys hockey guys?
Actually, we got 3 Canadians on the phone right now. If you're from Buffalo,
we're pretty close. We can't get much more Buffalo or Canadian Buffalo. So.
Yeah. That's right, man. No doubt.
I think I'd be into hockey if we had a team that won, but I just axed it out of that a long time ago.
We're at the Lightning, so I'm not upset.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks. And for everyone listening today, and for everyone watching, please do not forget to subscribe, and to everyone watching on YouTube, subscribe to that. And for everyone listening, please give us a 5-star review on iTunes, Spotify, or Stitcher, because we need the love. We need the love.
Also, too, if anyone's interested in contacting you, Joe, and have you run their campaigns for them or bring them on to native, what's the best way to reach you?
I mean, right through our website, roimarketplace.com. Feel free to contact us for them. You can do that. Also, sign up for the Facebook group, Native Advertising Gurus. Ask questions and bring people on there, kind of answering things. So
we'll include links below.
Yep. Yeah, I always encourage people to join those groups. If we have someone on this podcast it's either they're recommended, we know them. So it's going to be good stuff if it's in there. I haven't seen it for myself, but I assume you put good, solid stuff in there.
Yeah, we did like a 3-part video series. We just finished up about fourth quarter EECOM campaigns, how to launch, optimize, and scale
nice.
campaign. Did some awesome reviews.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing.
And we do some other stuff as well. So we try to keep the good content on there.
Awesome. All right, man. Thanks again. Really appreciate it.
All right, great,
man.
guys.
Thank you so much.
All right. Later.